I never met such an idiotic character ever. The fattest reading slump. It's toasting in here. I'm baking in here. Arthur's? Alex and Henry supremacy.
Wait a minute, hold on.
Hi, welcome back to my... Why am I so excited? Welcome back to my channel. And this video, I'm gonna be showing y'all what I read this past spring. It's, my app is over there. It has like all my books. I read like... I read 11 books. I DNF'd one book, and I will get into it when I get there. I DNF'd one book, but I read 11. And I've been in like the biggest, and like, I mean the fattest reading slump, like since May. I think because like that's like final season, and like I graduated in June, so I didn't really read. Hopefully July, which is my birth month, Cancer season. Hopefully I read more books this month. I might actually include a TBR. Even though I am a bit of a mood reader, I want to see how much I stick to my TBR and if I will consider doing them monthly instead of like doing like my wrap-ups like quarterly or like seasonally. If I should do it like monthly, I think I should do it monthly. I think that'd be better for me and for you. Okay, so let's get into it. The first book I read was The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. Yes, I think this is the first book I read. I read this in like March, but I started reading it in like January. Like, I don't know why it took me like it's like this book is literally 170 pages. I don't know why it took me so long to read it. But this first book I read is The Alchemist, and I rated it 5 stars. I actually really enjoyed this book. So it's just like this guy trying to follow his dreams, essentially. It's just, he has a dream that there is a treasure waiting for him by the Egyptian pyramids. And so he just goes on a quest and follows his dreams and follows his heart, and he finds out where the treasure actually is. So it's like a nice philosophical story. Actually, I loved it. People actually hated it. So it's like very chancy, very much. But I actually really love this book. So I gave it a 5 stars. The next book I read, along with the entire population, I read Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo. I read Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo. I gave this book 3 stars because it was like, it was exciting, but it was like a fun, fresh, like fantasy book. Like, there was no like layers to it, I guess. It was just like fun and fresh, lighthearted, very much like a beginner book. So I gave it 3 stars, but it was enough. Like, I did enjoy it. Like, it's hot, sorry. It's like, it's toasting in here. I'm baking in here. So, but I did enjoy it. Like, I enjoyed it much to read the rest of the series, which I'm gonna get into. But yeah, it was really cool. I really enjoyed the world. I enjoyed the characters. I enjoyed the plot twists. I enjoyed it all. I still have yet to finish the show. If you watched my reading vlog for Ruin and Rising, I'm still on that episode. So I'll leave that in the iCard if you want to watch it. The next book I read, I actually read The Hunger Games for the very first time, and it was the best experience I've ever had. It was my very first audiobook that I listened to on Libby. And okay, so little backstory. I was about to go to bed, but I didn't feel like watching YouTube. I didn't feel like watching Netflix. I was like, okay, so what can the girls do? Then I was like, wait a second. I can have I can listen to an audiobook. So then I was like, let me listen to The Hunger Games, because I always wanted to, and I never got the chance to when it first came out, because I wasn't really that into reading like that. Like, I was reading, but I wasn't like that into like the book community. So I was like, let me listen to The Hunger Games. I was hooked. I think I literally listened to an hour of it. That first night. Like, I was hooked. Like, I love the book so much. But I gave it 4.5 stars. Because Katniss, oh my gosh, that ending, it really took me. I was like, poor Peeta. That's all I had to say. I was like, poor Peeta. Oh, poor him. I feel for him. I feel for him. But I really loved it. Like, if you have the chance, I think it's on YouTube. And then Libby, all you really need is to connect your library card. But like Carolyn McCormick, she really did the deed with narrating The Hunger Games. Like, she did so good. And I would listen to it again. That was probably going to be a reread probably next year. It was that good. So, yeah. The next 2 books I read was Siege and Storm and Ruin and Rising by Leigh Bardugo. They going at it. Like, I'm clearly filming and they just going at it. Like, they just be fighting. Like, relax. But I read these 2 books. First, let's talk about Siege and Storm. It took me over a month to read this book. It was so like slow paced and boring in the beginning, and I was just like, hold on, like, there's no way this is this boring. Like, the entire book, it's like, if you're like an anime watcher, this entire book is like a filler anime. I'm just like, why is it so slow? Like, why is it so slow? Like, the savior of this book is Nikolai. Like, he really brought the book up to where it needed to be. The end of the book is like fantastic. I love the end part of the book. It's really good. But I give this book 3.5 stars. Even though I say it was boring, I still liked it better than Shadow and Bone. Because of Nikolai. I think that's literally it. And also, like, the tension between, like, Alina and other main characters and decisions she has to make as the savior. I just realized I haven't been saying what these books are about. I only said what The Alchemist is about because, like, Shadow and Bone, you should know this already. Like, I bet you watch tons of book videos. You should know you should know what these books are about. Hunger Games, that is a dystopian classic. A YA dystopian classic. You should know what that is about too. So I'm not even gonna talk about it. And I can't even talk about Siege and Storm anyway because it's gonna spoil the book. Anyway, and then Ruin and Rising. I actually read this book in 3 days. That's the fastest I've ever read a book. I was really zooming because I was trying to finish reading this book in time for the show, and I did that. I delivered. But this book, I like this book the best. I actually did a whole reading vlog about this book. So if you want to go watch it, it's in the eye. I think I already linked it in the eye, but you know, it's gonna be there and also in the description. So if you want to watch this, I'm not gonna share too much about it because, like, I did a whole reading vlog. It's actually really funny. It's really funny. I swear, I promise, it's really funny. Bro, I almost cry. I scream. I gasp. Everything. I get so angry. I yell. It's everything. Every emotion underneath the rainbow. It's in that reading vlog. But I did give this book 3.7 stars. Like, why can't I just stick to a 0.5 thing and keep it pushing? But it wasn't exactly a 4-star read. So I'm like, but it wasn't like at the same level as Siege and Storm. It was higher. So I'm like, let me just give it a 3.7. So that's exactly what the girls did. So Ruin and Rising by Leigh Bardugo is a 3.7 read. It's like a Leigh Bardugo Stan video, because he actually, Miss Leigh Bardugo is one of my favorite authors. like in reading like her books, like literally like not spam reading, but like reading all her books, I was like, wait, she's actually pretty cool. And I think she's one of my favorite authors. But the next book I read was Six of Crows by the one and only Leigh Bardugo. And I gave this book, okay, I did not know what exactly to give this book. I was like, should it be this? Should it be that? So I gave like a little range. So I gave the range 4.8 to 4.9 stars. I still don't know what to give it. Maybe when I reread it, which I will, I'm gonna figure it out. But okay, Floppy book. But like, the only reason why it didn't get 5 stars for me is because of Kaz. You read the book, you know exactly what happened. Because of Kaz, the book did not get 5 stars. But like, this book is your typical, I don't know about if it's your typical, this is my first high story that I've ever read, and it was the best. It was so fun. I would give anything to read this story over again. Like, it was so fun. And the found family trope is my favorite trope, and it's so beautiful. So if you love or are intrigued by like high stories, a group of misfits coming together, found family, enemies to lovers, like queer relationships, like this is your way to go. Same thing with Shadow and Bone. I mean, technically it's in Ruin and Rising, but like it's still the energy's still there. But like, you can, if you read Shadow and Bone and then you went to Six of Crows, you can really see a change in Leigh Bardugo's writing, that she really learned from like the feedback and she actually took it into consideration, because the writing in this book is so different and so much better than the writing in Shadow and Bone. And like, this is one of the best. I love it so much. So 4.8, select the 4.8 to 4.9 stars for me. The next book I read, it was like, it was a wee bit of a disappointment. The next book I read this spring was These Violent Delights by Chloe Gong. Listen, okay, so These Violent Delights is a Romeo and Juliet retelling, and you have Juliet Kai, who is the daughter of the, what's the terminology? It's like the daughter of the leader of the Scarlet Gang, and then you have Roma Montagov, who is the son of the leader of the White Flowers. So it's 2 separate gangs. Like, they used to have a thing going on, but now they hate each other. One thing that I'll tell about this book is that it is advertised as like an enemies to lovers. It has an enemies to lovers trope, and they did not lie. This book is really true to the enemies to lovers trope. It's slow burn. It's knife to throat. Like, it's such a good enemies to lovers. But why I was disappointed is because there's just so many like, I don't say plot holes, but like there's so many things that are like mentioned in the book that are only mentioned once and then not mentioned again. Like, the book is about like a monster, but they barely like talk about the monster. If you read the book, you understand, like, they barely spoke about the monster. There's like other relationships in the book that I also wanted to know more about. There's certain like characteristics and certain things that like the other characters do, like the side characters like Benedict and Marshall and Kathleen, like they all did stuff, and I was just like, Chloe, you mentioned this and you're not explaining it more. Like, I'm interested. Like, you mentioned it, I'm interested. I want to know more. But like, I hope she explains more in Our Violent End, which comes out this, I think October, November, and I'm excited. I'm excited. So I give this book 3.5 stars because I liked it. It's like the last 10% of the book really did it for me. It really like saved the book's rating because I love the last 10% of the book. It was fun. I really enjoyed it. That cliffhanger, I still remember it. Oh, I'm excited. Our Violent Ends. She needs to come quicker. She needs to come quicker. The next books I read were Heartstoppers Volume 1 and 2. These books are the best. I love them so much. I give them both 6 stars. I feel like 6 stars. Like, 6 stars are like legendary books. I can't even explain it. It's like my internal rating, but I gave these books 6 stars. They were that good to me. It was such a comfort to read these books. I just felt so warm and fuzzy and I couldn't stop smiling. I was like, give it to me. And then now because of that, Alice Oseman became one of my favorite authors too. Like these books, like, you know, Nick and Charlie, the queer book. Nick and Charlie, you know, it's just coming of age. They try to figure out their sexuality. They start dating. It's just like, it's the best thing ever. I love these books so much. I need Heartstopper Volume 4. I have to pre-order it because in the US it doesn't come out until December like 4th, like early December, like the 4th or the 6th or something. It doesn't come out, and I'm just like, that's too far because the UK, like Europe already has the books, but we don't have the books yet. Like I would get it from Europe, I would, but then like I want the spines to match. Like you see how they're on top here? I feel like with the European books, they're at the bottom, and I don't want that. I want the spines to match, so I'm just gonna pre-order it and like wait. But I love these books so much. 6-star read, 6-star read. The next book, oh my gosh. The next book is the one that I DNF'd. And that book is A Curse So Dark and Lonely. Never have I ever screamed so much and got so angry over a character. The main character, Harper. I think her name's Harper. Never have I ever gotten so angry over a book. She is so stubborn and I read up to like, I don't even know what I read up to. I think like maybe chapter 10 or something. Like where I read up to, like they're like traveling to another town or something like that. That's where I stopped. I was bored. I was first bored and Harper was getting on my last nerve. She finally, the straw was pulled. Like she would do something. No, first of all, she lives in Washington, D.C. And then all of a sudden she gets kidnapped and she goes into this world of Emberfall, right? Washington, D.C., it has roads. It has cars. It has buildings, like industrial buildings, I think. Has a White House. It has little shops with neon signs. Has sidewalks. Has people actually walking there. Has houses. Like, then she goes to Emberfall. There are no distinguished roads. It's like dirt roads. There's no like pavement roads. There's no cars, but there's horses. There's no buildings and stores, but trees, forests, bush. Like, there's kingdoms. There's swords. And she did not have the thought to question where she was. I mean, she questioned it, but she wasn't freaking out. Like, where am I? How come there's like this, the phones don't work here? I'm just like, you were literally transported to another universe, another place, another realm. And she's not freaking out about that. Like, I never met such an idiotic character ever, and I don't want to talk about her anymore. That's what I DNF'd, but she gets me so upset, like so upset to this day. I don't want to talk about her anymore. DNF'd. The second to last book I read this spring was Heartstopper Volume 3. Again, another 6-star read. This is actually my favorite Heartstopper. It was so good, and there are trigger warnings for this book about eating disorders. So if you want to stay with, if that triggers you, that this is in there. I'm pretty sure, I don't remember if it's in the other books, but it's definitely in this one. It's definitely in this one, but this is like so cute. I loved it. So 6 stars. I can't say too much because it's gonna spoil like the other 2 books, but Alice Oseman did the dang with this book. The last book I read this spring was the only book I read in June. It was literally the only book I read in June, and it's Catching Fire by Suzanne Collins, which is the second book in the Hunger Games trilogy. That was actually my favorite book. I love Catching Fire. Like, Joanna Mason and Finnick Odair really did that, and Beattie, they really did that. Like, they made the book so good. The drama, the juice, the tea, the quarter quell, the rules, it was so good. That was actually, I gave that book 5 stars. It was such an experience, such a thrill to read it, and I was like, oh my gosh, and then like finding out secrets like about like the world and stuff like that. Like, it was such a fun read. I'm excited. Like, that was such an exciting thing. Oh, and I give props to, again, Caroline McCormack, because she really made the story what it was. She really narrated that mess to the gods, and it was so much fun to listen, especially at night. Like, you just like in a dark room listening to Caroline McCormack and envisioning the Hunger Games and all the fighting and everything. Like, it was the best thing ever. So yeah, those are the 11 books that I have physically. No, these are the books that I have physically, but those are the 11 books that I read, plus A Curse So Dark and Lonely, this spring. And let's now get on to the July TBR. Okay, so I have, like, since my slump, I've been like starting books, but I haven't finished them. So I think for my plan for July is that I'm going to try to finish them, because a lot of them I'm actually almost finished with them, but I'm not quite there yet. So what I plan to do is to finish the books that I've started, maybe start new books. I don't know if it's a bit too ambitious, but they're pretty short, so let's see where I get with them. Okay, so the first book is An Enchantment of Ravens, which was the Fae Folk book club pick for June. But I didn't finish it in time because, like, I had finals and then graduation. Because I did just upload a finals week vlog type situation. I put in the eye. It's actually it's really funny. And I love the thumbnail. So I hope you guys like the video too. Go ahead and watch it after this one per that and my reading vlog for Ruin and Rising per. Do that. So I'm reading An Enchantment of Ravens. And I'm almost finished. I'm pretty sure. I don't even know. Honestly, I lost what it was about. I can't tell you what it's about. I'm just enjoying myself. I'm just enjoying the ride. Honestly, I can't tell you what it's about. I really can't. Like, a whole lot of nothing happened, so I can't tell you what it's about. My next book I plan on reading and finishing is Demon Slayer Volume 1. I watched the anime, but I watched it like when the anime first came out, and I'm like deprived. So I'm just like, I want season 2 to come out. I need to watch the movie, but I want season 2 to come out. So I'm like, you know what? Let me just relive the moments and read the manga. So that's that. Red, White, and Royal Blue is the third. I started reading that at the beginning of June too, or like the end of May. I'm halfway through the book. It's super cute. It's another queer book. It's so cute. A bit graphic. It kind of makes me uncomfortable, so I skipped over those parts. But Alex and Henry, they actually own my heart. Like they live here rent free. They live here rent free. Like they're like the cutest people ever. I love them so much. Like Alex and Henry supremacy. Alex and Henry supremacy. Alex and Henry supremacy. Yes. The next I want to read is Mockingjay. Just to finish out, because I just read Hunger Games and Catching Fire. Yeah, Mockingjay. Just to finish it out. The last two books that I want to read are, so I'm going to read Crooked Kingdom, because I've been putting this off for too long, because I read Six of Crows back in April, and it's July. It's literally July 7th. Like, it's long overdue at this point, so expect a reading vlog. I might connect it with my Six of Crows reading vlog, because, like, that vlog is, like, super short. Maybe not. I'm not sure yet. And that is the end of this video. Pretty ambitious TBR, if I do say so myself. Pretty ambitious. But I think we can do it. Hope you guys enjoyed my spring wrap up and my July TBR. Make sure to follow me on Goodreads if you want to keep up with like what I'm reading and how I rate stuff and my emotions about these books along the way. Be sure to follow me on Instagram, stay connected with me. Maybe you can send each other memes, become mutuals. I'm trying to be more active on there. So make sure to stay up. Follow me on Instagram. Keep up with the program. Keep up with the times. Follow me on Instagram. Make sure you drink water. Stay healthy. Exercise if you want to. Relax. Take a break when you need to. Read good books. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.